I'm Eric.
And I'm Jaime.
And this is Horrorscope, a podcast for people who love horror movies.
And people who want to love them. I think we need to explain that we lie.
Yeah. Do you want to do like a
How do you want to lie?
How do you want to lie? We lied!
We said we were going to watch Midsummer first, and we are not watching it.
Our bad. Next time, though. Next time's going to be Midsummer.
Wink.
Audio wink.
We are watching Alien.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very scared.
Great.
I'm scared. Yeah, I guess that's...
I'm hyped. That's what we're doing this for.
Tell me all about what you did to prepare. I didn't do anything.
All right. Well, I've seen this movie before.
Yes.
So I've done
How many
that.
times?
Not that many times, actually. I think I've seen the sequel, Aliens, a little bit more.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard people don't like that sequel. Or they don't like the third one.
The third, yeah.
It's Alien Resurrection?
That's
the
fourth one.
Okay.
So, so if we want to just jump into the series, the legacy of
yes,
Alien,
let's do it.
That what this classic board, like the 70s were like a weird time. It was when like a lot of like independent filmmakers were just blowing up. You got your Scorsese's, you got your Spielberg, Coppola's, George Lucas's, and also Ridley Scott, who made The Duelist right before making Alien.
Okay.
Alien was the second movie.
Is The Duelist a horror movie?
No, it was like a period piece movie.
Okay.
He's very. That's like the longevity of like Ridley Scott. He makes these like wild fantasy sci-fi movies, and then just goes back to making like these like period piece movies.
I love that.
So
it's like Ari Aster's trying to make he's like, I want to do a comedy. I want to do a musical.
Yeah.
It's like, no one's gonna trust you, dude.
Well, there's like two type of directors. I think there's the directors who do horror because they like it.
Okay.
And then there's like the horror directors who like want to try it out or like do it to start off.
They're like, I'm versatile.
Yeah, and then they're like, but I really want to do like the serious stuff.
Yeah.
So you have like John Carpenter, who's only done like horror throughout his career and like
Yeah.
he's been dedicated to it. But then you have like Ridley Scott or even like Wes Craven, who are like, I like this stuff is fun, I like it, but like that's not what I really want to do. Yeah.
Okay. That's a hell of a second movie. I guess I can't say that, but I'm guessing.
Yeah, no, that's what I was getting to, where it's just like there's these like in the 70s there was just like this weird like, you know, like lightning in the bottle, but like all over the place, like where like Star Wars was that for sure, where you have all these creative forces somehow coming together and making these movies.
Making something wild.
Alien was definitely that, because you have Ridley Scott directing, you have H.R. Geiger doing some art concept, you got Dan O'Bannon, who, as it turns out, is probably like one of my favorite screenwriters.
Oh, shit.
Just because he did two of my other favorite movies of all time.
What are the other ones?
He did Return of the Living Dead,
which
is a punk rock zombie movie from the 80s. Yeah. And then he did the 90s Total Recall, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh,
directed by Verhoeven, who made RoboCop, which is my favorite movie of all time.
What are Arnold fans called?
Good people.
Arnheads? Like what? Okay.
I don't know.
Eric and friends.
Yeah, other people.
Oh, I'll redact your last name.
Oh, no, they can find me. Beep. But yeah, so Alien, that movie. So Dan O'Bannon wrote this.
Okay.
There was a few other players that kind of were tied into it.
This was Sigourney Weaver's like first movie, right?
It is Sigourney Weaver's first movie.
Wow.
She did like Broadway, off Broadway, as she said. And then you had some actors in there who done like a lot of like TV work. Let me go to my notes. We got Sigourney Weaver. We got Harry Dean Stanton, who's a gem. Ian Holm, who actually sadly just passed away yesterday.
Oh my God, he was in The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh man,
he was in The Hobbit. He was in a few of Terry Gilliam's films, which was Time Bandits, which I really like.
Okay.
And Brazil. So super sad.
Dang, rest in peace, dude.
Yeah, there's Ian Holm, Tom Skerritt, who did a lot of TV work, John Hurt, Yaphet Kotto, and Veronica Cartwright.
Okay.
So a lot of these people, like just like John Hurt and Harry Dean Stanton for sure, just went in to be like do so many awesome movies. I mean, they all were working a lot before then. And I'm so
glad you read the actors' names, because I don't know. That's like, I don't know actors.
Yeah.
So like,
like
I don't watch a lot of movies. So like, when I listen to other podcasts and they go through the actors and everyone's like, ooh, I got nothing. I got nothing.
This is for you people who know who actors are.
I've seen Sigourney Weaver in her weird cameo in The Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, right, yeah.
And as the voice in Finding Dory.
That is true.
Those are the 2 movies I've seen Sigourney Weaver in.
Well, let's see what you think about her actually acting in the role for a good period of time.
I love her. I think she's very hot.
That's
my only opinion.
A universal take, I think.
Yes, I think so too.
I'm not completely on board with it.
Damn, it's not universal minus Eric.
Minus Eric, yeah. I think she is a beautiful woman, but just, for the world, not for me.
I think she's for, like, lesbians, right?
Yes.
Yeah, like, what's her character's name? Ripley. Yeah, Ripley. Wait, Ripley Scott?
Ridley Scott.
Right?
But, like,
What else? What else you got?
So, we could get into, like, the making of the movie and a lot of this other stuff, but I do want to preface, before we watch the movie, give you some context of, like, the world of 1979. 41 years ago. We're going back. We already talked about all these other directors blowing up. Star Wars had already come out.
Yes.
That's kind of like, after Star Wars came out, studios were like, hey, sci-fi? Profitable.
I love that.
Because that's how studios operate. When it's just like, when one thing is successful, it's because of the genre or thing about it, not the fact that it's just a good movie.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so,
do you think we're going away from that a little bit more, or no?
Oh no, we live. I hope the pandemic destroys some big studios, because we're definitely going back to, like, the studio system. This isn't controversial. It's just a fact. Because when the movie started, there was, like, the 5 studios that made all the movies, and then they financially collapsed, and that's when, like, you get the 70s and the new wave of, like, directors in the 60s.
Oh, okay. So you want to usher in some new blood?
Yeah. So, like, we have, like, A24 now.
Yeah.
Which is, like, your go-to independent film place. But then, like, I feel like there definitely could be more avenues for people to go, instead of just being J.J. Abrams and then Disney,
Yeah. I think we really need to, like, I don't know, it's support as much, like, local art or as weird art, or honestly bad art as you can. That's not owned by someone. That's like owned by an artist. So I absolutely agree.
Because you could definitely tell when you're watching a movie when it's something that somebody's, like, passionate about and they have a vision. But then, like, when you have, like, the community kind of made movies where we're at now, you can just kind of feel like it could be a good movie, but, like, the heart and soul of it. And same with, like, bad movies. Like, you watch a community bad movie, then it's just boring. But sometimes you watch a movie and it's like, this is awful. But then, like, you have a greater you still appreciate it because there's, like, passion behind it. Horror movies, like, are always really profitable because they have low budgets.
Yeah, like, give someone something else.
Truth or Dare was Blumhouse makes shit movies a lot of the time.
I wish you guys could see my face. I'm trying to make the Truth or Dare face. Okay, I saw the Truth or Dare ad, and I didn't know I was watching The Bachelor, and it came on, and we got really spooked, because I didn't know what it was, and I looked up, and I was like, oh my god, like, with the faces. I didn't like that.
Spooky, creepy.
And everyone on Reddit's like, anyone scared of that's an idiot. I was like, Reddit's bullying me. I got scared.
There's definitely, like, that audience that's just like, and Blumhouse, that's why it's profitable. Is like, they don't want good horror movies. They just want something that goes, ah!
Yeah, something kind of pulpy.
Yeah, which is fine. I enjoy those movies too.
Okay, but the 70s.
This time period. It was made for around $11 million. It had half the budget when it originally was put into production, but after Ridley Scott took over the project, I think it was Matt or Mark Hill, who I'm not familiar with, was the original director.
When did he bail?
He bailed, like, early production.
Right when the first thing pops out. He's like, I got it.
It was like pre-production, so nothing had been done yet. And then Ridley Scott came on board because the other guy bailed to make some other movie. Okay. And then he is, like, a very visual director. And so he, like, storyboarded out the whole movie, and that, like, got the budget, like, increased to double.
Oh, they're like, we see it.
Yeah. And that's when, like, Tom Skerritt was, like, the biggest actor, and they were trying to get him on before, but he said no. But then they called him up again. He was like, with that budget, I'm on board.
Oh, dang. Okay.
I'm assuming...
Is he the captain with the beard?
He's the captain cool with the beard.
Love that.
Hot is to
You
be
said
determined.
he's hot!
I never said he was hot.
He said he was hot.
He may have thought he is hot.
Alright, we'll see. To be determined. We'll rank everyone on hotness. We'll rank
the hot scale. Yeah, once we see the movie. Harry Dean Stanton's at the top.
Okay, we'll see about that.
So it was made for that. Box office was $101 million worldwide. So $10 million to make $101 million worldwide.
We'll take it. That's really good.
That's beautiful. And then Star Wars was the biggest shit, so sci-fi was big.
Yeah.
This was also... Halloween was 1978, so that's, like, this is, like, right when the slasher genre and horror was just really erupting right before the 80s.
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm so nervous, Eric.
For Halloween or Alien?
No, for this!
Oh no!
You just started talking about it, I just started thinking about it.
I'm so... So I watched several documentaries.
Do you want to try that one more time?
Yep. Because I forgot how to say documentaries. I watched several documentaries before this podcast.
Today?
No. Not this week. I think it was like 1999. It might have been for like its 30th anniversary.
Okay.
And that was really good because everyone was still alive.
Ooh.
So, and it had like all the actors.
Yeah.
It had Dan O'Bannon on there. It had Ridley Scott. I think Giger wasn't on there though, but Giger is great. He's like this.
He's got to be a weird fucking dude. No,
he's super weird. He's very Swiss and has like a raspy voice, and it's just like everything you want. He's just like, I make sexual porn. No.
I love that he's as weird as his art is.
Yeah,
I love that connection.
He just looks like what he would like. You're like, who would make this kind of art?
Like, oh, that guy.
That guy. The documentaries. Yeah, so I had everyone there, and then there was one that just came out last year because it was its 40th anniversary called Memory. Cool. Which was the original, one of the names for Alien, I guess. Alien's first name I know was Star Beast.
That sucks.
Which everyone said sucks. But then it's so crazy because like I just watched recently a movie called Underwater, the Kristen Stewart movie.
Yes. Is it good? Okay.
It was surprising. I was expecting it to be really bad.
Yeah.
But like...
I want to watch it. Can we put that on the docket? I want to watch it.
Yeah, I think it would be good to watch. Yeah. Especially after this. Because it was like, I watched that and then this movie Pandorum. Okay. Which are both like definitely like just taking everything from Alien.
Oh, I see.
Which I think is hard because when you're one of like the biggest space horror movies out there, and then anything else tries to be a space horror movie.
What's that video game?
System Shock.
Is it Dead Space?
Yeah.
Is that similar to Alien?
No. I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
It does have like body horror elements to it.
Yeah.
But I think it's just like a little bit more
dead stuff on a ship.
Yeah. Okay. More zombie. Grotesque things than it is just like one alien.
Slimy boys.
Yeah. So yeah, I watched Memory, and Memory was good. It like definitely was trying to go more for like an atmospheric, like aesthetic look for the documentary than it was info. It doesn't go through everything.
I don't love that for a documentary. I want the facts.
That's why like watching the 90s one was so good because it was so comprehensive, and I watched it after the Memory one. Okay. I was kind of disappointed by the amount of information I got on it, but the Memory one definitely went more into like the concept behind it. Like
we'll put them both in the show notes so people can read them. I'll watch them after too.
Because it went into Giger stuff, and there's another guy called Francis Bacon, and he did The Furies. Ew. And that's kind of like what helped inspire the Chestburster.
Oh, okay.
Which, how familiar are you with Alien? Like, what do you know about Alien?
Okay, I know they're on a ship. I know there is the alien. I know there's a face hugger. I know a dude gets busted out of. That's it. And I know what they look like, but I don't know if they're in this film. But I know what the alien looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's all I know.
Perfect. That's all you need to know. There's an alien, and they're in space.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, this movie is iconic. No other movie's been like it since, which is crazy, because they've made up to 6 now.
Oh my god, really?
Yes, not including the Alien vs. Predator movies.
Yeah, so, Katie Lee was like, isn't Arnold Schwarzenegger in this? And I was like, no. Isn't he? Is he? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, which is...
That seems wild for a crossover. Are those bad? They sound bad. Alien vs. Predator?
They're not great. The first one's decent, but...
How does it work as a crossover?
Okay, so...
Oh, shit. Oh, he's up. Eric's up. Eric's going over to... He has a poster? Oh, it's comics.
This is the first issue of Alien vs. Predator.
Oh, shit.
It was done by Dark Horse in the 90s, I believe.
Were you just waiting? You were waiting.
I forgot I had this until you mentioned it. But yeah, so it works. It's so, like, the comic is cool because it kind of makes sense.
Okay. I love that. I love that it kind of makes sense, so that's...
But it's like, it makes sense for, like, comics. And it's cool because it's, like, in space. And, like, the Predator is the ultimate hunter. And, like, Alien is, like, the ultimate prey. Because it's, like, super badass and kills everything. And so the Predator, like...
Spoilers!
Goes out. Yeah, I mean, yeah. But it's super cool. Okay. The fact that we haven't had an Alien vs. Predator movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it is very disappointing. But I digress. That's from my other Arnold Schwarzenegger
Maybe
podcast.
2020. One.
He's doing Terminators again. He might as well do a Predator.
Yeah, just hop in there.
Because and Predator is like they make it so low budget and low key. It's dumb. It could be a cool concept.
Okay.
Because you have like cool things.
I can't see it like not being comedic. Like that crossover. I feel like
I think you definitely lose horror elements to it. Yeah. But you could definitely make like a good like action.
Because there's like Freddy versus Jason, right?
Yes.
Too. That seems so dumb.
It is.
Okay, nice.
But
okay,
it's like
my instincts are good.
Yes. I think that's like most. I mean, like I think like people who again watch surface level or just like get spooked by anything. If you're doing a horror movie, you're probably not easily get that job done. You throw something spooky on that screen, you're gonna make people freak out. But then it's just like how much fun do you have with it? Because I feel like that's a lot of like slasher movies, and also that's what happened with Alien. Where Alien's like a space horror. The second one is an action movie. Okay. With horror, it's like an action horror movie.
So it's Alien, Aliens. What's the third one?
Alien 3.
That sucks. And then your face looks so disappointed. And then it's Alien Resurrection.
Because like I never really put together how shitty it is that they called it Alien, Aliens, and then Alien 3. They're like, fuck, we can't put two S's. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't call
we gotta watch them all, right?
I guess, yeah.
Not today, but we just gotta watch it.
2 is great. I always thought like because it's done by James Cameron who did the Terminator movies.
Boo. He did Avatar.
With
Boo.
Sigourney Weaver in it too, so you saw her in that.
Oh, yeah, I did.
James Cameron, it kind of seems like a shitty dude. Made some pretty great movies.
Okay.
And I think he has like this like ability to ruin franchises because he does too much in his sequels. Because, like, Terminator 2, it's just like, all right, you have, like, the first movie, which he did, which is just, like, robot from future tries to kill people and they run away. And the second one is, like, but then there's a liquid Terminator. We're going to push technology there. Now the Terminator, he's a good guy. He's going to help them out. And they're all going to battle. We're going to do these giant set pieces.
It's too much.
It's too much. Yeah, it's super good. But, like, at the end of the day, it's like, all right, where do you take it next? And that's what the
Alien
Terminator
3.
franchise has been trying to figure out ever since.
Yeah.
Alien the same way. It's like Alien's like a small kind of like claustrophobic horror movie. And the second one, it's like you got space marines, and then you have to go fight more aliens, and then there's like an alien queen.
Spoilers. Whoa, spoilers!
It's okay.
I haven't even seen the first one!
Don't worry about it. I was going to spoil it later on anyways, because there's a deleted scene we have to talk about.
Okay.
But, yeah, so super iconic stuff just like throws all that out there, and then after that, it's like, okay, where do you take it next? And the answer is, nowhere.
Down the toilet.
Because then it's like, what do? You make it smaller scale again because you can't go bigger than that because then it becomes too dumb. And that's what they try to do, and they put it on like a prison planet thing, and there's like religion.
No.
And it's just kind of like, and then like the studio gets their hands in there, and then the fourth one was just like even messier, and so they just kind of like gave up on the franchise. And then you have the Alien vs Predator movies that came out because the versus movies were.
Aren't they making another Alien movie now?
So then Prometheus happened, which you've seen.
Yes.
Which is Ridley Scott, like, getting to the end of his life and being like, let me be reflective on my career by utilizing my career, which is kind of cool. I like the idea of, like, a director coming back to the first movies
I think Prometheus was a good movie. I think David was really compelling. I don't remember a lot about it. I saw it, like, 8 years ago. So, I saw it, like, when it came out. But I thought he was a really, like, compelling antagonist, kind of. I'm really into AI, like, as a concept. Like, are they humans? Are they not humans? Mm-hmm. But it was very scary. It was a horrible surprise.
Runner, which is another Ridley Scott movie.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay. The aesthetics make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ridley Scott.
He has his wheelhouse.
And I think that's why Alien works so well. It's like if he gets a good like writer. And they said that in the behind the scenes too. Like he finds really strong actors, so he doesn't have to direct them and just focuses on like the visual aspect of it.
And I know about this too, so I guess there's some scenes in here that were a surprise to the actors. Like they didn't tell them what was happening, right?
Yeah. So I think it's a little bit what's the word I'm looking for? Exaggerated for like the aftermath. Like they say like the actors didn't know what was going to happen, but obviously like the actors read the script.
Yeah.
They're on the set, so they see.
It's not like The Exorcist, right? Like, didn't the director of The Exorcist just not tell them anything going on, and like people kept getting injured and stuff on the set?
They were just. It was the problem when we were like doing like in the 70s. There just wasn't that many regulations, so they're just kind of
no
doing
actors' rights.
Yeah, I mean, I know that like Linda Blair like broke her back because of one of the contraptions, and I think he had the other woman like tugged back, and she like got like a concussion from it.
Yeah.
Like it was just like. loose and
horrible
fast.
shit.
Yeah.
We'll talk. Ew. We'll talk about that when we watch that again.
But this one, it was like they knew what was going to happen, but like when they walked in, they were using like dead animal parts, so it smelled on the set.
Yeah.
And there's just like a lot of blood, and then the chest burster was supposed to come out, but then it wasn't coming out for the first few times because he had to rip through a shirt.
Oh no! Wow.
And so when it finally happened, and they pumped so much blood through it that it just started spraying, and it popped out.
Yeah.
And it was just like smell bad and it was horrific. And you'll see in the movie, spoilers, one of the actresses came into the line of fire of one of the spurts, and so she got covered in blood, slips, falls down, and then scrambles off of the way. But that's what they're like. That's like the takes you use.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
you see that in there, where it's more organic. It's
okay,
realistic.
I'll watch for that.
I'll
be like, wow, it's happening. Let's watch the fucking movie.
All right.
All right, hang on. All right, here's the wiki. Alien is a 1979 science fiction horror film directed by Ridley Scott and written by Dan O'Bannon. Based on a story by O'Bannon and Ronald Shusett, it follows the crew of the commercial space Nostromo, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Who encounter the eponymous alien, a deadly and aggressive extraterrestrial set loose on the ship. It stars all the people Eric has said. It was, who cares? It premiered, there's just, whatever, producers, Fox, producers. It premiered May 25th, 1979 as the opening night of the 4th Seattle International Film Festival. And it was presented in 70 millimeters at midnight before receiving a wide release in June. Critical acclaim, box office success, it won the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects, 3 Saturn Awards for Best Science Fiction Film, Best Direction, and Best Supporting Actress, and a Hugo Award for Best Dramatic Presentation. Considered one of the greatest films of all time! It was considered historically, culturally, or aesthetically significant by the Library of Congress in 2002 and was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry. That's wild. It's the 33rd greatest film of all time, according to Empire. That's a random number. Let's watch it!
All right.
Before we get into the discussion for the film Alien, we wanted to give you some quick content warnings. Our conversation, first of all, spoils the entire film, so if you don't want it spoiled, don't listen. We talk about the COVID-19 pandemic. There is some sexual content. We discuss body horror, abortion, and impregnation. If any of those are sensitive topics for you, tread carefully. The conversation is overall light, but we do get into it, especially talking about abortion. So that being said, Eric and I believe that it is our job and your job to make the world a little less horrific however we can. So for each episode, we are going to be donating our own money I say our own money, we don't make money off of the show. So we are going to be donating some money to a charity that we believe reflects the themes of the film. So this week we are donating to the Abortion Fund of Arizona. Their mission is to ensure that access to safe and legal abortion is available to any person who needs it in the state of Arizona, because abortion is a fundamental human right. We think that's right. So if you are enjoying listening to the show, kick some dollars their way. It doesn't have to be a lot, but anything helps. And it all contributes to the good fight to ensure that abortion is seen as the life-saving healthcare that it is. All right, thanks for listening. We're going to get into it. It was a wild ride. I think it was like, the only thing that really got me was the alien reveal and like the head snapping off. Mm-hmm. The smack. Love that very much. Yes. That was great. What did I say? Alien reveal? That's the whole film. Yeah, the android reveal.
Man, the parts that are good, the alien?
Yeah, I think that would have been very, very, very scary if you had not seen it. Did you see it with spoilers?
I don't remember the first time I saw it. I feel like when I saw it, I had to know something about Alien. I feel like it's like what we were just discussing. Yeah. Where it's like almost impossible. It's one of those movies that it's just impossible not to know everything about. I don't remember when I first saw it or how I reacted to it. It's just one of those things I feel like I've always known, but that's not possible.
That's true. Yeah, well, I mean, I knew a lot about it I've never like read the script or anything, or like read beyond. I've never like dug into the movie because I knew I wanted to see it someday. So I only knew from cultural osmosis, I guess.
Yeah.
Boy, a lot of penis stuff.
Penis.
Is that the title?
A lot of penis.
Penis stuff.
They're just like it's just like the creators of it are just talking about how like it's beautiful, like the creature is so beautiful and the score had to be beautiful and all of it just like man, I'm like what? But yeah, it's just like it's almost like a more subtle. Do you know who Clive Barker is?
No.
He's like the guy who did like Hellraiser.
Yes. Okay.
Where it's just like the BDSM tied with like horror. It's like horror and pleasure mixed together.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just like he's like very blatant with it, but I feel like this is like an earlier version of that kind of stuff.
This is like really it's got to be something real hard, right?
Like somebody's into the...
Yeah.
I do know that there is a fetish out there of being like artificially inseminated with aliens.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Did you watch the Vice thing?
That was the all gas, no brakes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's a Vice... it's not like a documentary, but it's like a interviewer talks to someone who makes those things. They're called like ovipulators or something.
If it's your thing, great.
So what's up?
But like, what? Why? You know what happens after that fetish? It explodes and comes out of your chest.
Yeah, it's like a lack of control, I guess, which is like almost all fetishes, I feel like. Like you just want to be completely out of control of like what is happening to you. Which is my nightmare. My non-sexy nightmare. So, like, I think that this movie has set a horrible precedent for the rest of the movies.
In what sense?
Because Ripley slaps so hard.
Oh, and you just can't.
She's amazing! That. Yeah. Well, like you were saying when we were watching it, like, everyone acts rationally. Everyone almost acts rationally in it. So, like, for the most part, everyone is being sensible and reasonable, and, like, they're like, we're gonna blow up the ship, hell yeah. Like, flamethrowers should have got those sooner. But, I feel like that doesn't happen in a lot of horror movies.
The only reasonable people, too, and maybe, I don't think this was all done on purpose. Like, I don't think, like, when they made this movie, which is crazy, I think they had some awareness of, like, the phallicness of it all and, like, the sexuality.
No, I mean, 100%. That had to...
But I think it's happened accidentally, too. Because, like, the three reasonable people in the movie are Ripley, Lambert, the other woman, and Parker, the black guy.
Yeah.
And the people in the chain of command are Ash and then...
So, like, all the marginalized people on the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're just constantly spewing out logic, being like, we should freeze them. We should...
Spewing's a weird choice.
So I just watched this movie. There's so much KY jelly in it.
Stop! Yeah, a lot of oozing.
We'll get...
That's an interesting point. Is that like an academic point, or is that something you think of? Like, have you seen that interpretation before?
I mean, I've heard... They compare it more to like the blue collar worker aspect of it,
absolutely.
of not being and like you just being in charge. Like, because even Dallas, who's trying to do his best, at the end of the day, he was like, "I'm just trying to do what."
He's just like, "I'm a dude on a ship." Yeah.
And like he's like, "No, follow orders," and like that kid gets him killed because he's following orders of a company that doesn't care about his life.
Yeah. I'd like everyone to know. I thought. I did say I never clock a twist. I did write down in my notes immediately, blue guy shirt, space narc. So I clocked that extremely early.
We're talking about
Ash.
Ash, yeah.
Yes.
Who turns out to be an android.
Yes, who is the robot.
Which you said was an alien in a human suit.
Yes.
Which is very close.
Almost. I mean, yeah, that was pretty close.
I will say, I still am. I thought I would be able to understand it better watching it. I don't understand his killing method where he wrapped up. So
I mean, he's a robot, so maybe he just is bad at that.
So to break down the scene, because there's a lot that we need to talk about.
Oof.
We do want to talk. The alien stuff's great, but that didn't get you because everybody talks about the aliens, but nobody talks about the android, which is the one time there was a point in the movie. Yeah, that's insane
that I never have heard anyone talk about that dude. That's insane.
Because you're just like, oh yeah, chest burster. No, I know. There's like this. I can't be shocked by this movie. And then we get to the android part. And it blew your mind, where he fucking attacks.
Blew his mind, dude.
He like attacked. He pops up. Quick side note: Ian Holm getting the 2 jump scares out of us in both the franchises.
Oh, yes.
Because also in Lord of the Rings, when he does his little Gollum face.
Oh, yeah.
Terrible.
Oh, I thought you were talking about him in the room with her.
And then I was saying,
When
too,
he
gets the only jump scare I think that he got.
Okay, maybe we walk this back entirely. A brief overview of the film. No, we should do it. We should do it. Okay, so space truckers are in space. They're bringing something back. They get an SOS call from space, and they're like, fuck that, we're truckers. Why do we have to go get that? And then Space Narc, who is Ash, is like, oh, I think we should go get it. It's in the protocol from the company, in air quotes. So they have to go, and then one dumb fuck touches the egg sack thing. They go on this horrible ship that looks like a specialty dildo, touches it, thing on his face that looks like a horseshoe crab. Then they're like, psych, he's fine. Was not fine. Chest burster. Have to kill the thing. Everyone dies one by one. It's just Ripley. Oh, no. Ripley catches Ash. Ash is a robot, gets his head smacked off. Then they, like, reanimate his robot self to talk to them, which is gross. Mm-hmm. That shot of him, like, swallowing. What were you swallowing, dude?
Swallowing.
You don't have he was, the head. The head was, like, swallowing when he was talking.
Just
like, labor. Yeah, it was gnarly. I was like, you don't need to swallow! Stop it! And then he says, good luck, idiots. And then they're like, we're blowing the ship up. And then the thing gets the other two crew members. And then it's just Ripley. And then she saves the cat. There's a cat. And then then she escapes. And then the alien's on her pod. And then she shoots it into space. Yeah.
We need to just have...
What did I miss? That was good.
I want you to recap every movie we watched.
Like that? Okay, I will.
With your little... robot.
Fuck that dude. Fuck that dude.
So, yeah, from the beginning, I mean, we were talking about how what was soon to follow, I mean, with a lot of slasher movies, is just a lot of dumb characters making doing dumb things.
Yes.
But at least in this movie, there's, like, reasonable people who are just blatantly ignored.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. What do you think the themes of the movie are? I'm still figuring them out. We just watched it, like, 15 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm. As we're figuring it out, can we just? I do want to mention your name for her when she gets the newspaper on her mouth.
Oh man, okay, all right. So we're back to the robot, and she's trying to get away from Ash, who creeps up on her when she figures out he's being shitty. And they end up in this corner of the ship that has a bunch of like titty pics up, and I called it the cum cubby, which is not great, but why? And also there was one shot of eggs. So like newspaper cuttings of like topless women and then eggs. And then he rolls... Oh, it was like porn magazines too. Yeah. Yeah, he rolls up porn magazines and tries to shove them down her throat to smother her, which is bizarre.
Think about it.
I'm right, yeah. And then the other guys show up, and then he smacks his head off, and then he explodes in like white goo. So the shot I'm talking about with his head moving is him covered in white goo, and I really regretted the cum cubby.
Oozing. It's like it's milk, and then you mentioned cum cubby, and it just takes a whole new context.
I hated it, and I hated the design of the robot, which looked like the insides of him looked like kelp. So I thought that he was an alien. I thought he was an alien in a person suit. Mm. But that reveal felt like the only part of the movie I didn't like is the design of him as a robot.
Oh shit! All right.
Yeah. I think I liked it a lot. Mm. I guess I haven't. I need to process it to think about what I didn't like more. I guess. Okay? All right. Cum cubby is put to rest.
Perfect. And we can end the podcast.
Horrible.
Thank you. Listen next week when we do miss.
Thank you. Guys, podcast's over.
Let me look through my notes, see if there's anything. We did watch, there was the deleted scene, which I think is the most disturbing part of the movie. Yeah. When they go down, they find
They should have left it in.
Bodies, and they're being like slowly transformed into eggs. And they're still conscious, which is just so fucked. At least
I don't know if the other guy was. Was he?
I think he was.
Did you see him move?
I think there was like a little bit of like,
sucks.
Yeah.
I hate things that are moving that you think are not moving.
At least when like the face hugger is on you, it like puts you in paralysis.
I hated that. No, hated that.
So the only thing you get...
No, at least.
The only thing you experience when you have the alien in you that sucks is the alien busting out of your gut. But I mean, when you think about it, that was only like, what, like a minute of pain?
Yeah.
And then you're
I also didn't like when the other, I don't know if this was intentional or not, but the other woman getting killed on the ship, the thing like moving up her leg and it looks like it's moving towards her like vagina.
Yeah.
Didn't like that. Hated that.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of penis stuff.
A lot of
A lot of penis
stuff.
stuff. Do you think, okay, I think here are the themes.
Okay.
Capitalism is bad.
Yes.
Sex stuff.
This comes from, this isn't my theory, this comes from the Memory documentary that goes into a little bit further. But it's like I
definitely need to think about it more.
The oppression of like women, which we talked about with like them not being listened to.
Yes.
But then there's also like the magazine. It has kind of like this underlying theme of womanhood and abortions and.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Like the idea of losing autonomy over your body. I have an article that I first read on Medium. It's called "The Scariest Thing About Alien Is How Real It's Become." It's written by Sady Doyle. It was published right before Halloween last year. And a quote from it: "Alien's plot is kind of a nightmarish allegory for the socially conservative backlash in which a gender egalitarian and sexually liberated future is torn apart by a monster whose only concern is impregnating everyone against their will. No movie has ever created a more viscerally terrifying picture of what it would feel like to be pregnant and unable to access an abortion." Which feels correct to me.
Mm-hmm.
I've read this article, so before seeing the movie. It sucks that it's more relevant than ever. It is, like, the gender politics of the movie, I think, are really good. Everyone's, like, equal on the ship. The only person talking down to Ripley is Ash, who represents capitalism.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like he disregards the low-class worker and then disregards a female voice.
Yes, and we were talking too about how the fact that he is a robot who was programmed to be sexist, like you can feel his palpable annoyance at her asking him questions, like, well, why is it doing that? And he's like, me doing that. Like he was just being such a dick.
Like, let me do my job.
Yeah, well, he said, you do your job and let me do mine, but he didn't let her do her job because she was not going to let them in the ship, and then he overrode her.
Yeah.
So it's like, the rules only apply to you. They do not apply to me. Yeah, I'm looking at my notes now and I got distracted because I have smoking in space is absolutely insane. Oh, I wrote nobody is listening to the mullet lady. So yeah, she was the only one. Yeah, they were the only ones saying, like, let's turn back. But I think truly, truly, unfortunately, this is really relevant right now, even with, I don't know, Arkansas tried to pass, or it was Tennessee or Arkansas. Let me look it up. Let me know my facts. Tried to pass an abortion ban today.
Wow.
In the middle of a pandemic.
In the middle of the pandemic.
Yep. Yeah, it was Tennessee. So I have done volunteer work for reproductive justice pretty actively in the last year. And they, when I say they, I mean like conservatives in power are trying to leverage the pandemic, even to the point where the Trump administration is selling Baby Lives Matter onesies this week, and how everyone's like, no, everyone cares about the pandemic, but no one cares about the millions of babies murdered every year. And so they're trying to shut down abortion clinics, some successfully because they're saying it's an elective surgery, which is, I mean, it's like as bad as it could be, basically.
Do you think that you could show one of those people the Alien movie, like a white male, and be like, isn't this horrifying? And then they'd be like,
I think he'd be like, well, if they just listened to the captain, it would have been fine. No, I don't think so. No, absolutely not. Because I think if we've learned anything from the last 4 years, willful ignorance is the most powerful force on Earth. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't, but they're gonna understand an allegory, they won't understand facts, they don't have empathy. It's obviously, like, this is a tangent, where are the All Lives Matter people for the pandemic? Like, where are they for the protesters who were being killed? Like, where are they? You know, and so it's not ever, instead of pro-life, it's anti-choice, because it's never about life. It's not about, like, the sanctity of life. It's about control. And it always has been, and it always will be a fight about control. So I think this would go way over their head. They'd be like, ooh, gross. Fluids. You know?
Right.
Ooh, wet film. Like, I don't think...
It's very wet film.
Yeah,
What did you call the room where Brent died? The chain...
Oh, the drippy chain room?
The drippy chain room.
I did also write down, he, like, shakes his head and stands under dripping water. And I wrote down, I would not open my mouth for a fluid on this ship. So talking about capitalism, there's a quote from Ripley. She says, "Unfortunately, by breaking quarantine, you risk everybody's life."
Ooh.
Which is so gnarly because we are in quarantine right now. It is day 100 of quarantine.
Is it really day 100?
If you've been quarantining since we have. It's either day 99 or 100.
I got some champagne down there.
Cheers! But we're in a state where they just finally said people have to wear masks. No one gives a shit about other people. That's not true. A lot of people give a shit, but a lot of people don't. And I think not to talk about Doug Ducey again, but I think we need to, it's just like the sacrifice of in Ash's orders. It's like, everything is secondary to the survival of this alien.
Yeah, I've actually found in this viewing, his part felt like definitely it's like the climax of the movie, and the alien gets just like the alien doesn't feel like any sort of threat. Even Ash says he loves the purity of it, and it's true. Yeah. It's just like this. It's just a creature that's
it's
doing
not moral.
Yeah, and just like it's more haunting and a lot more scary watching it this time around. Just like this machine that has been like programmed, follow the orders, and how it has like disregard everyone's voice. It's just like it's so much more haunting than the alien's like spooky and kills people up, but then it's just like, all right, well that's fun.
Like this guy, like his programming, they were like, you have no autonomy, you have to listen, but also you are allowed to be a misogynist. Like, let's make room for that real quick. Yeah, let's give him some little coding flavor. Beep boop.
Which like makes like even Ash is like can't fully blame him since he's a machine.
I think you can blame the company.
But you blame, and there's the fact that there's a company that made a machine that has that sensibility makes the people behind it even worse than the alien.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think it's not the alien's fault.
No. It's just doing its thing. And like the movie's definitely like, I think we're pro-alien.
Oh shit, I'm not. I'm pro-Ripley. Well, it's also the idea of taking something like that to make it a weapon. This hits different right now. Yeah.
It is interesting, like, in this time, watching things, and then they just, like, take a new way. Like, there's, like, we have, like, had a decades-long span of, like, movies that have all dealt with quarantine and zombies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like if we watched any of that stuff right now, like, it hits so hard. Like, even in the 70s, I'm sure when they were talking about, Ripley's talking about breaking quarantine, like, that's like whatever. It's just like something that makes sense for space. But like now, it's just like fuck yeah.
This is a circumstance I don't think we ever thought we would live through. I guess so. If it's fictional, it feels fictional. But this is like not. It's like what's happening right now. So.
On this movie, 41 years old, and now it's more relevant than ever.
Yeah. Shit. What don't you like about this movie?
I think some of the effects don't age well. It's like a very tangible movie. Like
the chest burster. Is what you're gonna say? He's like, ooh, like he's not. He's like he doesn't look scary. He just looks like a little.
That's ruined for me because of. Did you ever see Spaceballs?
I haven't seen Spaceballs.
There's a scene in it where the chestburster pops out and starts to sing "Hello, Dolly," and like does a little tap dance out. And when I see it, I just think of that. And
it wasn't
it's cute.
I don't think it was scary.
It's not
it didn't
scary.
feel super scary.
But yeah, it's like very tangible. They use like I have that little trivia facts here for like the face hunger when they're like dissecting it.
Yeah,
that was shellfish, oysters, and sheep kidneys.
That felt okay. I also felt like that kind of looked a little vulva-ish too.
Yeah,
like I was gonna say inner vagina. I guess that's correct. Vagina. I guess that's correct. I didn't say my inner vagina, but it looked like. Yeah, kind of. And I thought it looked like oysters.
So yeah, I love the feel and like the ships and everything. Yeah. I'm always fascinated by, because I don't have the sensibility to like build that stuff. Mm-hmm. Where like, especially like future tech, when it's just like, there's like little knobs and like bumps and stuff on it. And it looks good, but it's like, how do you like figure out how to draw that?
It looked really good. I think I didn't know that he did Blade Runner, but that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Because I think the thing I like most about sci-fi is design of ships. And I like how it holds up. Like this movie was beautiful also. The colors were beautiful. It was very blue and orange. I don't know how to talk about this eloquently. It was pretty. Yeah, it was a beautiful film. Like, there were a lot of shots that were really beautiful. The end was amazing with the mist. What was that? Fog?
Yeah.
Coming out, what was it?
So that's probably
air?
That's just like pressurized gas.
Yeah.
Because
what was the purpose of it? She was trying to cool the ship down. Or not. I don't know what she was trying
I think it was like overheating. I don't know what.
Whatever. It was rad. Like the end with
cool.
the lights and her walking through and you can't see anything, and then her like point of view shots. I thought the close up of the cat sucked.
Which one?
When Brett dies.
Oh, and the cat just
it like looks at the cat and it's like, ah! And then the cat's just like, huh. Like, I thought that was dumb.
But I think that the movie consistently does that, where I like it. It gives the audience a moment to process, because when the moments hit, they're so fast.
Yeah, it actually wasn't that scary.
The facehugger hits his face, cuts out to the ship, and just like holds there. And then Brett like sees the creature grabs him, cuts the cat. So it's just like, it allows the audiences to like freak out.
Yeah.
And be like, holy shit, what just happened?
Yeah, I would rate this.
And even if you don't freak out, it's just like haunting, because something terrifying just happened, and then it pulls out, and it kind of just has that void, that space feel of just like.
I guess I was expecting like it to be scarier. I was expecting, because I knew what they looked like already. I had so I was expecting it to be a lot scarier, and since it didn't linger, I don't think it was. I think if it had lingered, it would have been. I don't know. Actually, I don't know how to answer that, because I'm not seeing it with fresh eyes.
I think that it did a good job of hiding the suit, because anytime they showed it too much, it just looked like
crazy.
Like, yeah, because like the parts that I thought didn't age too well. There's one I've never liked the scene when Dallas is in the vents and he turns around and sees the alien. Yeah. The alien does like a surprise.
Yeah, and
like throws out its arms. It's supposed to look like it's grabbing him, but it's just like. Hey.
You guys, it's not a visual medium. Eric is doing it he's doing the ragtime jazz hands.
And then even when he gets blown out the ship, it's just like a dude and like.
Yeah, that kind of sucked.
It just does like it, because they didn't have if they used like what they did in Pan's Labyrinth.
I want to watch that. That's actually on the list. It's a good
movie.
Yeah.
So what they do in that movie for like the I forget the dude's name, but the eyeball dude.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be like really thin, so they put him in like a practical suit, but then put CGI to make it look thinner. I think you need that, like when you like see modern or comic book or like artistic interpretations of the alien, it's very lean.
It's like gaunt. Yeah, you can like see its ribs, right?
Yeah. And then like when you put
it's just a dude in there
with like a suit on, you just make it bulky. So the alien looks like a lot bulkier than it should, and they kind of fix that in the aliens, because they're like more insectoid. They're like crawl on the walls and stuff like that.
We'll find out. That's on the list.
Yeah. So just like those shots didn't really do too good of a job, but everything else is just so.
Yeah. Are there any like elements of the story you didn't like?
Huh.
I think he should have shot him with fire. I think the captain had a flamethrower, and the alien shows up, and she's like, "Oh God, it's right behind!" Like, turn around and shoot him. I thought that was very disappointing. That didn't make any sense to me.
I think
I would have shot either direction. I would have just started turning back and forth, shoot.
But he just went down the ladder.
I would have shot up. I would have shot down. I would have shot every single direction. I would have just started lighting it up.
This is why you would live, Jaime, and.
I don't think so. I absolutely would not live through a horror movie. I would just be like, time to shoot myself into space. Yeet! Like, gotta go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I think like it's like a very tight movie.
It absolutely is. That's why I think this was not a bad choice for the beginning, but it's setting us up for disappointment later. I'm just gonna be like, why is Ripley not in this one?
Yeah, I mean that could be our new thing of just asking
where we would put Ripley.
How shorter would this movie be if Ripley was in it?
I liked her a lot. It was really good acting. I think everyone. I said when we were watching the movie, I was surprised at how everyone was calm until the captain died, until the third death, and I was like, shit. Okay, but I would have been freaking out way before then. I don't know if that's like standard in space. The way the characters talk about finding alien life was like kind of still a mystery to me. Like I don't fully understand if they understand if there is life out there. Well, yeah, they also okay because they were very casual. If I was in space and then they're like, "Hey, an alien ship is like reaching out to us," I would freak out then. Yeah, it was like, okay, so I was trying to pick up on clues because I was asking you in the movie if there is Earth, how Earth exists in this, like where are they going? So they were going back to Earth. Ripley asks if the SOS in the beginning is human, and then they're like, oh, what else would it be? Like there's like a little cutaway, and I was like, credits, like open. And then they said the frontier. So they said, she said on the end log, we're going back to the frontier or something like that.
I did realize after we talked
that,
and it is established in the second movie that there's colonies, that they're colonizing other planets. And they're terraforming them.
Okay. Like Animal Crossing.
So in the future, we're Animal Crossing, except for if Animal Crossing, you're just like catching fish and then a xenomorph comes out.
I hate that.
I would like Animal Crossing a little bit better if it had xenomorphs in it.
Well, why can't there be one good pure thing?
It's fine. You get killed by the xenomorph and just pop up back at your house.
Yeah, it's like getting hit by a wasp.
Yeah.
So I think, they were really casual. They're like, oh, weird, organic life, poke. Like, that sucked. I don't think... I mean, I guess it's human curiosity. You can't say what you would do in that situation. I can say what I would do.
For every great discovery, I think there's one guy who had to make the poke.
Yeah. Also, wait for the call to be decoded, but I know Ash was, like, putting heat on them. And I think Ash, when I said Space Narc, I meant it because he was, like, representing the company, so they were trying to stay on good behavior in front of Ash, so I think that's why he had a little bit more authority. He had a different outfit than them, right?
No, he was just a spaceman. But he had like
a blue shirt, and they all had different uniforms.
Because he was the
medic.
science officer.
Okay.
But it was established by the captain that that's how the company operates on any sort of scientific level. He's in charge, and then when it comes to the ship, the captain's in charge. So that whole situation with discovering the life form,
is under his
jurisdiction.
I just feel like in situations like this, you need to do what you feel is right. And I don't know
suffer the consequences later.
I guess, yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I'm big on gut feelings, so like.
But what if you feel like there's something inside your gut?
Launch myself into space. Bye.
Save the cat. Let me die.
Oh my gosh. What do you think is the? I guess we kind of talked about it, but what's the strongest part of the movie for you? I have an answer.
Yeah, go.
I'll answer first. I think it was the cinematography and like the way the color was used and like the end scene was the best. And also, the ship's called Mother. Let's talk about that.
Oh yeah, the AI system is Mother.
Yeah, the AI system is Mother, and her screaming "you bitch" and then like breaking the computer's very good. Yeah, but I think you guys get it. We don't have to unpack that one.
Yeah, the layers are there. But
someone's probably written a PhD on this.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, like 100.
I'm
gonna look
so
them
many
up.
Science people. There's so many screenwriter teachers out there.
Yeah.
Who are just like, let's break down this film.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think Ridley Scott is a very strong visual director. I'm not the first one to say that.
Yeah. And
he happened to find like the right actors and have the right script for it. Because the dialogue, I really appreciate this time.
Me too.
I really loved how they kind of were just all talking. They really didn't focus on a conversation. The shots, this has been said before too, but like the shots had multiple people in it. Yeah. I just felt really lived it. And it's like the ship felt,
I liked how they had a wind chime in the ship.
Yes, and the little bird things. It was very it's just like it's like I feel like a lot of future movies just like forget about modern day stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, here we are in 2020, and we're reflecting on something that came out 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So in the future, I don't think we're gonna just like forget all of these technologies.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
If anything, we'll have a stronger nostalgia for it. But one of my favorite characters that came out this viewing of the movie was Yaphet Kotto's character.
Yeah.
Just because he was just like the engineer, every man. It was just in it for money, and like
I love that.
He was great. He was just telling everyone off. He was kind of a shitty dude.
He was fine.
He was pompous, and he had good ideas. Kept on saying freeze him.
Yeah, I love how he was finally like, we're blowing the ship up, and I was like, thank God. Like thank God.
He was on board at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I liked him a lot.
He just made one mistake. He spared Lambert's life.
I guess it's like, I think it's very hard to say what you would do in that situation, right? Like, you always want to say, like, fuck it, but I don't know.
The train parallel, but the other side is
the trolley problem?
The trolley problem, yeah.
But one's a xenomorph and one's your coworker. Oh, man. Well.
And it didn't work out well for him.
I don't think this movie was very scary. I think it was really, it's like, it feels like more of an action movie.
So from like 1 to 2 scary.
What do you mean? Like 1 to... 1 to 2? There's only 2 options?
1 to 2 scary. T-O-O.
Oh, I see. Let's rate it from 1 to 5.
Okay.
Let's establish our rating system. I would give it, like, a 2.
A 2 on scare?
Like, no, 5 is the scariest, and 1 is not scary.
Yes, yeah.
Like, I would give it a 2.
Alright. And then what would you rate it as, like, an overall movie?
Like, enjoyment? Like, a 5.
Alright.
Yeah, like, I really, really enjoyed it. I think it's, like, more of an action movie with horror elements. I think if they had kept in that deleted scene, it would have, like, tipped the scale a little bit.
Into, like, that's, like,
Yes.
full body horror.
Yes.
Which does tie into, like, I know that a lot of, like, Ridley Scott, Dan O'Bannon, and H.R. Geiger all bonded over their love for, like, Lovecraft.
Yeah.
And so that was, like, that kind of visceral, like, it's all that uncontrollable horror.
Yes.
But whenever Lovecraft is, I think H.R. Geiger, just to briefly talk again about the alien design, is like the only person who can visualize something that's as scary as like your in imagination.
Yes.
I don't think it fully translated with this one, but I think that the idea.
I would have at the time. It would have at the time, absolutely.
Yeah. When you think about the aliens you saw before, which is like very rubber suit costumes, kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think even today, like there was like this like mix, I think in like the late 70s and then 80s, where you get these tangible alien horror creatures, like the Thing.
Yeah.
But the Thing's a lot more complex and just could be anything. Anything.
I felt that way watching this, though, because I couldn't visualize what part of it we were looking at. Like, when the mouths were popping out, I was like, that could be a hand. I'm also not a visual person. I don't have, like, a visual understanding brain very well, so I think I am not the person to think about design so much.
And it's confusing, too, to look at it now and, like, not, like, try to remove yourself from that, because I feel like the xenomorph is such an iconic thing. I've, like, seen it so many times in other medium.
Yeah, exactly.
That I just completely understand what I'm looking at. But
yes, but at the time, yeah. I think the one design note he got was take out the eyes, because if it has no eyes, it's scarier.
That's very
Which
true.
is true.
I think to this day, if
just give it a giant penis head.
Just give it a penis.
Yeah.
Or give a penis eyes, and then that's pretty scary.
I don't like that either.
No, I don't like what I just said. I'm horrified now. I'm deeply disturbed.
I think we have to talk about that too. Like I think maybe we should move around the discussion, because we did open this talking about fetishes. But I think that fits here more, and I also want to get the name right of that.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm Googling sex egg shake recipe. Excuse me? Sex egg?
Can you please Google that?
Vice? No! This is my work computer. Okay, Vice TV, the sex toy that lays alien eggs inside of you. Okay. It's an ovipositor is the name of the thing. We'll put this in the show notes as well. This movie is very sexual, in like the imagery, right? And I don't think you can't miss it. I mean, I guess you can.
I do like how, though, I like how, like, because, like, you have, like, when it comes into, like, slasher movie territory, when we get late into, like, the 80s, like, it definitely is, like, very blatant, like, oh, they're just fucking, and then they die. Like,
it's like, stimulating, yeah, like,
but this one, like, there's no, like, it's very, like, unisex, no, like, none of the crew are, like, just fucking around, being sexual with each other.
Yeah, I think that's a big important part too about how they all were just people on the ship, and I think the film was written for all men as well. I think I remember seeing something like that. That's why they all use last names. But it was, obviously cast women in the roles, but I think it was written to be, and I think that's important too. That's an important distinction, that Ripley wasn't a woman, written as a woman. We were talking too, I got worried at the, like, famous, like, tank top underwear scene when she's, like, in the escape pod.
You mean when the movie ends?
Oh, yeah. Eric said, I was like, she's in the escape pod and petting the cat, and then I was like, oh, God, it's on here. And Eric's like, no, the movie's over. And I was just like, fuck you! So mad. But I didn't feel like she was sexualized at all. I felt like she was just in her skivvies.
Yeah. And
then in her suit, and then blowing the thing up.
It didn't linger. It just felt like...
Yeah, it just felt like standard, I don't know, like, I don't think nudity is inherently sexual, but it usually is in movies like this.
I think it seems like it was just like, nudity was just played out as nudity versus...
It wasn't like, Ripley stripping down. It was like, she had the worst goddamn day.
I mean, I guess, yeah, because it's like when she was in, like, her underwear, there's, like, a sense of comfortability, but then it transforms into a sense of uncomfortableness where you don't have your clothes and you're just
and like
naked.
Being afraid for her being vulnerable because of the alien being there.
Yeah. And it takes her getting into a suit to, like, man up and then sing a song.
Even Man Up is really interesting.
Or whoops. Yeah.
No, you don't have to whoops. I mean, it's the language built into our culture, so it like
Ripley
reflects.
Up.
But
That's my new country.
Ripley Up.
Yeah, Ripley Up.
This movie fucking rocked. This was super good.
Oh.
I think if you are a chicken, you can still watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can't really see it coming, but like it's not gratuitous. It's pretty tasteful. It's very interesting. I think I was gonna say brain food, but I don't want to talk about like food or brains with all the fluids and bits and everything. I think the thought-provoking nature of the film is worth the scares.
Yes.
I don't think it's that scary. It was really good. That was a really good first movie.
If you thought that was action-packed, just wait for Aliens.
Okay. What if we just watch all the Aliens movies and then that's the whole pod? I think we're gonna switch off between old horror and new horror, right? That was what we talked about.
Yeah. That also, I think, because like this being a first movie, when I said originally that I wanted to like do like The Exorcist, I realized that like, because I do want to like really fully research these movies before watching it. Yeah. And man, oh man, when you watch a classic horror movie, guess what? There's a lot out there to like dive into.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I think it's just like a nice break for me to watch a new movie, and also it gives us constant context.
Yeah,
because I feel
absolutely.
like as we watch old movies, it'll make new movies make more sense, and just kind of like that translation.
And the world gets worse and worse.
And just attract audience members who only care about the new things. So next one's going to be Midsommar.
Oh my gosh.
We're going to watch Midsommar next for sure. We're not lying to you this time.
That's so suspicious.
No, it's not. I'm not suspicious. I swear like I'm Ash in this movie. Not suspicious at all.
Oh man, is Eric a robot?
What if you just looked over and just saw it?
You're like, no!
I started rolling up a newspaper.
Oh my god.
I'm rolling up my first issue.
I'm gonna get the cat. I'm gonna get your roommate's cat and fucking bounce.
Our theme song is written by Anthony Erdo of the Grand Prix. You can hear more of their music at thegrandprix.com. Follow us on Twitter at HorrorscopePod, 2Ds, and Instagram at HorrorscopePod with 1D. Your horoscope for the day is what lays before you is nothing compared to what's inside of you.